it is the first Monday in the year 2020, and that means we're getting right down to business this morning.
That's right. It seems like the year is getting into autopilot already, and everything seems to be moving quite smoothly.
Yes, indeed.
Very smoothly.
Now that all the festive activities and the blues that follows are over, time is not waiting for anybody. And well, let's get into this, having this successful 2020 that we've all been talking about. My name is Yomi Uwope.
And I am Mary Bashwa Alime. Stream us live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Of course, you can also send in your comments across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Yes, and then I hope you know that our app is available for download in any Android or iOS store, so you can watch us on your mobile devices from absolutely anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so straight to this morning's highlights. First, latest in the world of technology. That's the first thing we're talking about, and Mike has updates for us coming soon.
And then, of course, United Kingdom-based Nigerian artist Toby will be performing his song in And for a second musical performance on the show today, we have Afropop artist Caesar.
But the money no get drop. We scatter.
Now, Mondays are for motivation, and joining us is certified neuro-linguistic practitioner Boluwatifa David to talk about different types of lives that people live.
And then, of course, seasoned motor mechanic Yomi Bosude joins us in our auto segment to talk about things to look out for before heading out.
Our spoken word artist for today is award-winning poet and author Saint Rhymes.
He lived
and died in traffic. Hence,
Finally, we have Daniel Eshoweblim on SME to show us the building blocks of his business, Petron Software Solutions.
Hey, people.
Hi. Hi.
yeah,
Good
first
morning.
working
First
day
dapper.
First working day
Wow.
of 2020.
of normal people.
I'm not-
Normal people like this is the time when they okay. So
So
our
who are
first
the
day-
abnormal people?
I don't know.
You,
And there's some more, then much more normal people is next week. Ones are much more normal. So just like that. So that's how it is. So yeah, welcome to 2020. If you are just arriving, Lagos has been cool for the past week at least.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Feels like
okay.
it, yeah. I mean,
But what
it's
happened with the
been
Harmattan this year?
It decided to delay its arrival to frustrate people
okay.
in
So it's
January.
never the delay. Like, so last year there was hardly no Harmattan. So it was like maybe 2 or 3 days that you had
Yeah.
waves. I can still clearly remember. But this year, it just came like it was preparing all of us that
When you guys were screaming last year, winter
No,
is
we're not-
coming,
we're not
winter is
screaming.
here. You did not know that it would come to
for
Nigeria.
those of us who are preparing for our real place.
Yeah.
He was preparing us.
Yeah, I mean, it was
prepared
not
us
too
our
bad.
real place,
A
so-
number of states were pretty cold.
Yeah. I saw a video, is it Jos or Kano, where blocks were coming out of a
That
pipe.
happens a lot in Jos. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
agree.
that's
Yeah.
in Jos. But
Jos
not-
is the one place you can find snow.
Not all of Jos, maybe some areas. So maybe some of the hilly areas.
Okay.
You might find
Blocks are just coming out like that and wow.
temperatures as low as 5. But places like Kano, Kaduna had 8, 10 degrees, which is quite cold actually.
It
You know,
is.
hail has actually fallen in Lagos before.
Okay, yeah,
Like hail,
yeah, I think
blocks
okay.
of ice.
Blocks of ice, yeah, I
Yes.
think.
And
Oh, no,
I
that
remember there was
happens.
a
That
time
happens.
when I was much younger, I would hear stories of how Jos would have snow. I've never seen that one, but there were stories of that it was so cold, it was snowy sometimes.
You know, sometimes there's a way cold can do your eye, will not be seen. Well.
You,
So,
eh?
you know, the thing just be doing you like that. So, you just be seeing rain. And
Yeah,
instead of
you're
it to
calling
be,
it snow
instead of it to be
because it's too
translucent or transparent, you just be seeing white. So, it's hard to, cold can cold has that effect on people. You know, your mind, you're not.
You start
So we are
hallucinating.
I don't want to say hallucinating, or maybe it's not about, but you start seeing things as though they were not. Not that, so that's what happens with the cold. But yeah, but it's been a warm. Apart from the dust, I think the weather has been, and you know, what makes it a problem is that it comes, and by the time people start getting used to it, it's off. So it's not a problem. I feel like if it was something that was very consistent, we would even get used to it even more.
I would actually be
But because
pleased
it
if you
comes
can
and
extend
goes.
to like March, you know.
March, good.
Yeah,
Something
since it did not start from
something that already
November.
today, it already started giving you signs that are
It
burning.
hasn't
Yeah, it's
needed
warming up.
anything.
It feels like it's warming
It
up already.
it's actually warming up.
That's
It-
what my
it
sister
actually is.
said yesterday. I was like, no, it's gonna happen.
It's
This
so
summertime
it's
was
already
last.
giving you signs that are
It just
burning.
gives you a taste.
It is that
And
this weather is for those people. It's not for you people. So it's
for
just
the
going.
dust, eh?
It's going to review. That's the problem. That is the
Oh.
problem. I mean that's a major problem. So sniffing in
Especially
dust.
construction areas.
Wow, don't try it, man.
I found myself at Agege last weekend.
Okay.
Bro.
oh yeah, you tweeted something
So,
about
yeah, so the entire stretch, so there's this long route from Moshalashi Alaja through Penn Cinema, through one route like that people can pass to connect to Abule Egba. Everything blocked off.
it. Why?
Construction.
Okay, they're working
Road
on the
construction.
road. Okay, road construction.
And you know, they're also doing the drainage as well. So it happens that if you are walking, you will first go down like Spider-Man, then come up again.
boy.
See serious activity. Then apart from that, again, if you are driving, you cannot pass there anymore. You have to go all the way to Guinness.
They're trying to do a lot before the
Before the
rains
rainy
come.
season, I must commend the state
They're trying to
government.
do a lot before the rains come. So
must commend
it's
them.
speed. You know,
Ah.
before March.
People are going through hell in that area.
No,
it's
yeah,
really bad.
so I feel like if you see the work being done, it makes the hell a little bit bearable. You know, when you know that okay, in the next 1 or 2 months, this will be okay. So it feels good. You can
And
manage.
typically, you know,
It's actually been going for a while.
for a while.
typically people adjust. So for instance, if you go from, say, if you normally would drive from Iju to straight to Penn Cinema, now you probably go through College Road and inner roads as well.
But those also make traffic
Abulegba,
mount in those areas as
Koba,
well.
all those areas, you know, just, or you just go face the other direction and go through Akute and come out on the other
that
side.
Akute, that part, because there was a particular, some years back, there was a particular road, Akute, where they were doing one bridge, is there overhead bridge or something?
I haven't
No, just
been
a
there in
bridge.
while.
Just a,
Is it
I know
completed
I've
now?
been there once. I don't know what's the state of that road.
I don't know, it was
Like,
terrible
man,
one time,
it
but
was.
I think, yeah, but they got some.
It didn't seem like some Grand Canyon or something. Like,
Oh, yeah,
it was
it looked like
massive.
it
It
and
was
it was
massive. So you
terrible
come out
when
and
it
you
rains.
see, and then you see the construction, the bad road, and be like, whoa.
Okay,
And,
I
and
think
it was
it's
really, really bad when it rained.
about time for us to head straight for the news. Ibrahim is on standby.
When do we go here? Mary, it's been a long time I saw you.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's true. Thank
I-
you.
I learned you how to run back to Nigeria from US due to the latest World War III that is trending on Twitter. Is
You
that why you
say?
came back home?
You say?
Guy, last.
Welcome back, Mary.
Last.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has placed police commands and formations nationwide on red alert. This proactive measure follows intelligence reports that sequel to the recent killing of an Iranian general. Some domestic interests are planning to embark on massive public disturbances and sabotage. Zonal AIGs and command commissioners of police have been directed to ensure maximum surveillance and security of lives and property across the nation. The police commanders have been directed to ensure strategic deployment of both overt and covert police operatives to ensure adequate security and safety of citizens. Gunmen have kidnapped a 70-year-old woman, Ms. Feintola Wewe, in Ondo State. Her abduction comes 3 weeks after some gunmen kidnapped the wife, children, and driver of a traditional ruler of Odigbo Town, Oba Rufus Akirimade. Mrs. Wewe was kidnapped on Friday at about 11 p.m. The kidnappers are yet to contact the family of the old women. And the Department of Petroleum Resources says Saturday's gas outlet's owner in Kaduna State, where an explosion occurred, was operating without a license. It warns that owners of gas businesses in the state will henceforth be monitored strictly to ensure they comply with all requirements. 6 people have been confirmed dead, while others are battling injuries in hospital. Our correspondent Tessie Makinde reports.
The day begins with visits to the explosion scene. First is the State Deputy Governor, Dr. Hadizo Balarabe, who leads a state government team to Sabo. Next are officials from the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR. They tell us owners of the shop only relocated to the area a few weeks ago and were operating without a license. They add that beyond their illegal operation, their cylinders were wrong and expired.
This particular gas plant, from our investigation, is not legally licensed by the Department of Petroleum Resources to handle gas. We are already working with the other security agencies to ensure that we go into the nooks and crannies of Kaduna State to ensure that all these illegal operators are apprehended, and we can even consider the possibility of getting them prosecuted.
6 people have been confirmed dead from the explosion. Among them is Director General of Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Simon Malam. And the Deputy Governor, as other well-wishers, also visit his Kaduna home to commiserate with the family. The next port of call is the hospital where the injured are receiving medical attention. The condition of many here is pathetic. Among the injured is a nursing mother, but her baby's condition, we are told, is satisfactory. The Kaduna Deputy Governor, who is a medical doctor, is not pleased with all she has seen. She also notes that there will be strict enforcement to ensure gas business owners operate within specification.
When governments put some policies in place that we should respect. We should respect such policies. It's very sad.
A sad weekend it has been in Kaduna. It is hoped that the injured will recover speedily and souls of the dead would rest in peace. Tessam Akende, TVC News, Kaduna.
Now, residents of Ilashe community in Badagry, Lagos, have accused the Navy of forceful displacement from their ancestral homes. They say the community, which has been in existence since 1913, was host to government workers during the installation of pipelines in the area. But things have now changed as the government want them out of their ancestral homes. The Nigerian Navy has been carrying out operations around coastal regions. A clergyman based in Ibadan is pushing for the adoption of a positive attitude to national life by Nigerians. The founder and senior pastor of Lighthouse International Church, Reverend Yemi Aduloju, made that the focus of his message at this year's Thanksgiving service. He charged Nigerians to take attitudinal change serious and to pray for Nigerians, the Nigerian leaders.
My advice to Nigerians, like I said, is that everybody should adopt a positive attitude towards the development of this nation. We have no other country. This is our country, and it is a blessed land. And to those in leadership, they must understand that leadership is transient, and there is no power except that of God. There is no scheming of man. There is no plotting of hell that can prevail against the counsel of God for this nation. There is a definite counsel and purpose of God for Nigeria. Nigeria has a purpose to fulfill in the counsel and the program and the will of God. So there is no scheme of hell or man that will prevail against the counsel of God.
And as it is at this hour, the update for this hour, it's time to let you know what the weather will be like today.
This is the first Monday in 2020, so I like that. I like repeating that. So Monday, January 6th, we have all the headlines in the papers this morning. And Punch is looking good. Sorry, the Nation is looking good. Looks pretty full.
Yeah. In fact, almost all the papers have full headlines. Do you want to have a
Yeah, so let's start with the Vanguard this morning. How federal government, states, local governments, others shared 8.1 trillion naira in 2019. Wow. And then the Vanguard has a breakdown of how revenue was shared in 2019. Federal government with 2.9 trillion naira, the states with 2.2 trillion, and local governments with 1.7 trillion, and then oil producing states with 545 billion naira, all on the cover of the Vanguard. And then planned electricity tariff hike. LCCI, JAF, PDP, others kick. And a few other stories at the bottom of the Vanguard here. The tension rises as U.S., Iran face-off escalates. That story is on page 42. And budget 2020, federal government to spend 67 billion naira on rail line from Kano to Niger Republic, others. Iliarugbo, Kwara government didn't demolish late Senator Olushola's property, committee chair says. And Serap asks Buhari or Shibajo governors to publish their assets. And up here, CEO analysts foresee a challenging year amidst opportunities for growth. And finally, factors that will determine Nigeria's economy in 2020, Bismarck Rewane says. And that's what we have on the cover of the Vanguard.
All right, moving on to the Nation newspaper now. This says, outrage as Disco sets for cost-reflective power tariffs. Minor review, a retrospective adjustment. Consumer groups, LCCI, PDP, others kick. Up here, how Kaduna gas explosion killed Prof. Don dies in barber's shop. Chaos as fire raises Oyo market. One killed in mayhem. This is a story that interests me a lot. Exhumed last student's body for reburial. Interment tomorrow. This story trended a lot last week. Boko Haram presidency allays fears over Chadian troops withdrawal. Southwest governors, security chiefs to meet over Amotekun. Here, Bakari admonishes Buhari on succession. Kwara government to seize more houses. And down here, Christian persecution ongoing. Khan replies Sultan. Gunmen abduct woman. That's a 75-year-old woman in Ondo State. All of these stories and more in the Nation newspaper today. Yeah,
the Nigerian Tribune's got the headline, USA versus Iran. IGP places police on nationwide red alert. U.S. confirms Al-Shabaab attacked its military base in Kenya. And shops, property worth millions of naira, raised at Oyo Township Market. 1 killed, 10 kidnapped as gunmen ambushed travelers in Taraba. ICC continues to commence probe into IPOB Shiites killings, Falana says, and says the federal government never appealed 10 orders releasing Dasuki Showire. And reps stop over 850 MDAs extant powers to spend IGR. APC to Atiku, PDP's rebuilding must begin with restitution. No increase in electricity tariff, the Electricity Regulation Commission says. And Bakare to Buhari puts succession plan in place, unveils real enemies of Nigeria. And finally, customs to raid more textile shops in Nigeria. That's what we've got on the cover of the Nigerian Tribune. All
right, moving on to the Punch newspaper now. Electricity tariff hike again. It's daylight robbery, Labour tells federal government, of course others as well. Consumers will be vulnerable if review is not holistic. That's coming from the LCCI. Despite tariff increase, federal government to fund 545 billion naira shortfall. Here we see Iranian generals killing. IG places police on red alerts. Owners of unregistered vehicles in Lagos risk prosecution. Hisbah storms Kano gay party. Arrest 15 suspected homosexuals. Join APC, get 2023 presidency. Ngige tells Igbo. 3 feared killed as Oyo traders protest market inferno. Saraki Dogara gets severance pay. AIDS lament. Now up here, PENCOM plans pension ban to clear 400 billion naira arrears. Christians are severely persecuted in Nigeria. Khan backs the U.S. Pick your successor, Pastor Bakari urges Buhari. Extortion, CJN disowns Shehu Sani, says ex-lawmaker a liar. ICC extends war crime probes to Army Shiites IPOB clashes. That's a report on that. And finally, TSA whistleblower others saved us 700 billion naira. That's coming from the federal government. That's a lot of money. All of these stories and more in the Punch newspaper today.
All right, we've got This Day up next. We're ready to take over security from military in volatile states, say police. Soldiers have no business in internal security, say experts. And Chad withdraws troops as insurgents intensify attacks. Wow. And then we have another story here. Lagos, 13 others hike cost of ROW for telecoms infrastructure. And this story lists all the 14 states that have increased their cost. And This Day gathered the agencies and ministries of some of these states have increased the ROW from 300 to 500. And this is in line also with the electricity tariffs, which seems to have also been increased as well. Now, in other stories, banks reconfigure ATMs to beat CBN's reduction of charges. And CBN vows to investigate sharp practice. And it says some commercial banks have designed some means to avoid the recent slash in charges on withdrawal from ATMs by the CBN. You can find that story on the cover of This Day this morning. And federal government to underwrite 544.8 billion naira electricity tariffs shortfall. Wow, that's a lot. And still on the cover of This Day this morning, Buhari seeks peace, stability in West Africa. And in line with that, we have a welcome to Nigeria to the president-elect of Guinea-Bissau, Mr. Umaru Embalo, who came to visit President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa yesterday. And that's what we have on the cover of This Day this morning.
Now, moving on to Daily Sun newspaper. PDP rejects hike in electricity tariff. 2023, Sudden's pushes hard for presidency restructuring. Ohaneze to set up lobby group as Northern Group adopts El Rufai Onu. Up here, we see Governor Obiano under fire over wife's charity in the U.S. WIC calls Anambra's First Lady's gesture mindless. Several Nigerian leaders will be shifted away in 2020, coming from Olukoya. Pray for people in public office to use public fund rights, coming from Peter Obi. Now down here, 3 feared dead as fire raises over 1,000 shops. Whoa. At Akeso Market in Oyo Town, Alaafin Minister Gani Adams sympathized with victims. Many enemies of Nigeria in government, says Bakari, tasks Buhari to unify fragmented nation. A death of Iranian commander, IGP places policemen on red alert nationwide. Gunmen kill army captain, 3 others in Niger. And finally, civil war, Obasanjo Oni, Sanusi others for never regain, never regain confab. All of these stories and more in Daily Sun newspaper today.
Yeah, well, that's about all we can take. I think we'll have loads of stories in the papers and loads of papers to choose from as well. We're going to take a quick break now. We'll be back with traffic in Lagos.
All right, it's a beautiful Monday morning and more people at work, which of course translates to traffic. Yes, the traffic is definitely going to be heavier this morning, unlike what we had last week. And we are about to give you tips on the best route for you this morning to get to your destination faster. Now, as always, we encourage that you help other road users by dropping relevant traffic situation reports on all our social media pages using the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. Okay, all right, let's get started this morning. We're going to start from the Ile-Epo axis, heading to Mushin bus stop. As it is, last week it was a case of 35 minutes, 45 minutes to get to your destination. It's not so bad. It does seem like so many people decided not to resume work today because right now it will take you just about 50 minutes to go from Ile-Epo bus stop all the way to Mushi bus stop. So the areas to look out for, the traffic isn't so bad, just so you know. The areas to look out for coming out from Ile-Epo bus stop, light traffic. But the red areas, though, heading towards the Anokpaja Bridge, there's traffic there, okay? The gridlock starts from about 10 minutes before. So just prepare your mind that you would experience a bit of gridlock before you get to the bridge. But after the bridge is mostly good to go, just pockets of light traffic, even through Dokpemu, even under the bridge at Dokpemu, just light traffic, okay? Pockets of light traffic here and there, through Mangoro, through Cement, through... but then you get to Ile-Zik, and that's where the gridlock starts. So that's where the meat of the traffic is this morning, the Ile-Zik axis. And it will take you all the way through Ikeja along. And just as soon as you get past National Bus Stop, the traffic eases out, okay? So you do find to be patient. From that area, it's mainly free-flowing until you get to Oshodi. Now, at Oshodi Bridge, approaching the bridge, gridlock, under the bridge, through a few minutes past the bridge, gridlock. And that's just about it when it comes to traffic this morning, heading from Ile-Epo to Mushin bus stop, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure Tokwe and Yomi have updates for me via social media.
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
I'm just going to take a few and then throw it back to you.
Okay.
But before that, before I take the social media platforms, this morning as I was coming on, the Third Mainland Bridge was already really, really busy at 5:15. Between 5:15 and 5:30, Third Mainland Bridge was already busy. So you can imagine what it's going to be like now. Anyway, so everybody's talking about the resumption. Everybody's trying to get back on the road on social media right now. Most areas. Now, this was just a few minutes ago. I said, good morning, Lagos. Traffic still fair. Ogba and Berga are still quite light right now, so that's good to know. And Oshodi is building up, and Ikeja area is also not too shabby this morning, so that's good. That's on social media. A number of people are reporting that. But Third Mainland Bridge, everybody's talking about Third Mainland Bridge being quite busy this morning. And I feel like it's an early morning rush that will eventually ease up because a lot of schools have not resumed. So maybe wait out the traffic a little bit before going out this morning if you're not heading out to work. Yeah, so that's what we have. That's what I have here.
Okay, just before Tokwe gives updates as well, let me just quickly update you on what's happening. If you're heading from Motorway Center, that's around the 7-Up axis, going to Obalende on the bridge, it will take you just about an hour, 12 minutes to get to your destination. As a matter of fact, toll gates is, there's just light traffic at toll gates. It's not so bad. Through Ojota is good to go. Mostly pockets of traffic until you get to the Ogudu axis of the bridge. That's where you would experience a bit of gridlock, after which, of course, is just pockets of traffic here and there, again, until you get to the Bagada axis. That's where you experience another gridlock, but it's only for a short while, after which it's mostly freeway until you're just about to get on the bridge. That's when the light traffic starts, and the gridlock runs through the Third Mainland Bridge like there is no reprieve. It's that bad. I'm really sorry to give you that piece of news this morning. But the Third Mainland Bridge, it's a bumper to fender thing this morning. Off the bridge, light traffic, mostly until you get to Obalende on the bridge. I know I said Tokwe was going to give this update, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to join the guys in the kitchen while Tokwe quickly gives the update, and then we'll have a conversation, okay?
Okay, so before Mary comes, so there's traffic on Third Mainland, but this update I have from Lagos Traffic Reports on Twitter says that it's because there's work ongoing on Third Mainland Bridge.
Okay, on the Third Mainland Bridge.
On the Third Mainland Bridge. So you might want to use Eco Bridge to get to the island. So they say, please share so someone will not take that route, because I did see a lot of traffic when I was coming this morning. I don't know.
Because
Okay,
the
then
work wasn't there
also,
last night.
Cathedral en route Falomo is currently good to go, and this was at 6:25. Aja Park inward UBA roundabout, Owando currently good to go. Busy traffic currently on 3rd Milan Bridge in Wada Deniji. So you might just want to use a co-bridge instead of using 3rd Milan as an alternative.
Well, as I always say, just drive carefully. That's the most important thing. Have consideration for all the road users. Really important.
So many things happening. I'll leave Twitter and World War III for tech. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought it would have eased up by now.
But it's getting more intense.
It's actually getting more intense.
It is. We'll discuss about
people
it
are
on
very
tech.
tense.
Yeah,
so
we'll discuss about it on tech and all that. But Golden Globes, that's the big one. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. He won.
I mean,
you've seen that movie.
I mean, that guy.
You've seen Joker.
That guy. So when I saw the film, because I know Joaquin Phoenix, so I was
Personally.
He knows he
The
can
way you
know.
said it, I know
No, but I know him, but he might not know you. There are two ways.
No, but it's my guy. I texted him last night.
Yes, now he knows him personally.
Yeah, so once they announced his name, I just sent him. I said,
It's
dude.
possible. Didi once shared his number. Rotimi shared his number last 2 weeks. So it's possible to text.
I just texted him. I said, dude, what? Anyway, that's not what I was trying to say. So what he had to go through physically to prepare for that role, I mean, I think he deserved that Golden Globe. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. He lost a lot of weight. Became he became emaciated. You saw his back and his bones were showing.
I saw the
And so you know people that don't know him, when they see him after, they wonder if he's the same person. Remember, he came to prominence with Gladiator. If you remember, he was in Gladiator with Russell Crowe. He was the emperor's son, who he's fresh and he's fat. Yeah, but man, he went the transformation for that Joker. So even before, during the course of the shoot, I mean, having to the legacy that Heath Ledger left and all of that. So starting up to that one, I mean, Jared Leto was a joke. That Joker for Suicide Squad, that was just a joke. Please, they should delete that Joker from the annals of history. You understand? But he came with a performance. He gave us another side to Joker that, man, you just watch the movie and
it was a good performance. He deserved that award.
He was the man.
Well done.
He was the man. Other awards, there was Renée Zellweger for Judy, Best Actress in a Motion Picture.
Okay.
She won that one for Judy. Yeah, that was Joaquin Phoenix, of course. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Best Motion Picture. Of course, that had
I'm actually not surprised about that.
Leonardo DiCaprio. For me, that was a very Quentin Tarantino kind of movie.
Yeah.
You were used to seeing blood with Quentin Tarantino and all of that. So this one was very Quentin Tarantino. But of course, he had Leonardo DiCaprio. He had Brad Pitt and all of that. So good one for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then for the Hildo Guanadotti, which is the best original score, Joker. You know, the guy was dancing. That movie had a lot of music and dance. That is crazy
that
dance.
Movie, you need to go and watch it.
That is crazy dance.
It's probably going to be out on DVD, Blu-ray, and also probably on one of this online.
Then Awkwafina for Best Actress in a Motion Picture. Awkwafina, I don't know if you know her. She was in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
She's becoming big in the Asian sector. She's been growing, apart from being a singer and all of that. So she was the winner for The Farewell, Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. And Taron Egerton, I don't know, you know him from Kingsman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
So he was in Rocketman, Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy.
Okay.
That's Taron Egerton.
So these guys are, one of the things, so it's very strange that, I mean, all these actors, we're mentioning all these actors and all these great guys who won awards, and then Beyonce is trending for being at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, because she's an icon.
I don't get it. I don't understand. She didn't act any film.
What she's wearing, her appearance.
So everybody's talking about what she wore last night and her hair.
Oh, yeah?
Her hair looks perfect. I don't know.
Beyonce is perfect.
See who he's talking and he goes, her hair just looks perfect.
I'm just saying.
You just wanted to put that
Yeah,
in.
so I just sent her a message as well. I
Oh,
said,
my
Beyonce,
days, who
man,
be
like
this?
you just, really.
You know, you really made, you were just spot on.
Yeah, no, but she was sitting beside Jay-Z, so I had to be careful.
I like your confidence.
So, well, quite a
on a roll
number of
this
them. I was going through a lot of them. But yes, the Golden Globes, you know as it is, it kicks off the award season.
Yeah.
The Grammys,
Yeah.
the Oscars,
Yeah.
the Emmys,
They
the
also say
Tonys.
it's an indication of
Yeah,
who might
of
win
who might
the
win and all
Oscars.
that. But we know that the Oscars and the Grammys are about the two most prominent awards that we know about and all of that. So yeah, award season is
So no Nigerian
full
movie.
motion. Huh? Okay.
Why are you trying? No. I won't take
I just
that.
asked a
On
question.
behalf of all we actors, I will not take that. Our AMVC is coming.
I thought I would see, when I didn't see Tokwe last week, I thought maybe she had gone. But I thought I was going to see her on
So
the red
you see,
carpet last night.
you see the thing with AMBC.
You know, there was a problem with my tickets. I mean, you know how the flights can be at
Why
this
do I
time.
feel like I'm in middle of a conversation that is beyond this place?
Which,
Mike, are you sure we should not switch seats?
Oh, no, you just be there. You'll know, you'll find out.
So
But
Mike was
you
saying
see,
something, yeah.
you see the AMBC. It's why it's different from every other one is that for the Golden Globes, which you know Motla was here that day, you have an academy that has over 6,000 people
Yeah.
who are professionals. So that means that actors, directors, producers, and all of that together they vote.
Yeah.
That means that it's amongst. But AMBC is a viewer's choice.
Yeah.
So for me,
Yeah,
AMBC
yeah.
is not an indicator. With all due respect to AMBC, but that's it. It's a viewer's choice. Viewer. So it's not a professional
Body,
voting
yeah.
body.
Body,
So
yeah.
it's about popularity.
Exactly.
What the viewers like.
Exactly.
And that is what it is. So all due respect to AMBC, that is what they are.
So you can
But
imagine,
it's very different.
you can imagine a Tasha or a Messi making their debut in a movie.
And they like her. Thatcher will just win AMBC. I'm serious.
Yes, it's true.
She will just win AMBC.
You just see best upcoming actress.
That's it.
But she won't win Oscar.
No way.
All right, guys. It's time for us to take a short break. We'll return shortly. Stay with us.
Tobiloba Hassan Omitero is a United Kingdom-based Nigerian artist. Now, Toby, who has lived mostly outside the country and heavily influenced by different genres of music, will be performing his song Ilumi. I believe it's dedicated to Nigeria. Yeah, definitely. So you, before we came live, you spoke about finding your sound. Now, how was that for you?
Not bad. It was.
Your mic.
Oh. It was kind of difficult, but I had to, cause to be honest, like I've been through like so much, and I've been to so many studios, seen so many artists do their thing, and I'm like, okay, cool, like I've got something to get. But last year I found my sound, and I was like,
So when you say found your sound, now I'm sure there are upcoming artists out there who do not know how it is to find their sound. Now, how was the journey, in just a few words, how was the journey like for you finding your sound?
yeah, just it wasn't that hard, but I just needed that, like a guide. Like, I just needed that person, like who can just say, "All right, cool, Toby, yeah, that's it."
Oh,
Do
yeah?
you understand? So basically, I found that person, and it was like, "All right, cool, Toby, I think this is your sound," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, cool, no problem." So since then, I've been doing my thing,
Okay, so
and it's
now
been going good.
Illumi is with your original sound.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to let you show the world your sound.
Yeah, say no more. Thank you.
Okay. You know how it is on Monday morning. We take a look at some updates in the tech world and social media. Today is our social media update day because we're looking at the three major social media platforms. But then, World War III has been trending on Twitter, and Black Twitter has been joking about the possibility of that. Now, you can recall that Trump ordered a U.S. military airstrike on Thursday that killed the leader of Iran's elite Quds force, General Qasem Soleimani, in an airstrike near Baghdad airport. Now, with the threat of a possible world war looming over us in classic fashion, Twitter didn't panic. Instead, users rose to the occasion with a wave of hilarious tweets. Now, a lot of them are quite offensive. I could not put them of course, Twitter. That what you see there is a security update from Jack Dorsey, who mentioned about safeguarding Twitter. But then, guys, what do you think? You've seen a lot of tweets. I mean, there's been the joke of a possibility of a world war, and a number of people didn't take it too lightly. But then, people around the world found a way to joke about it. Is it being insensitive?
Joe, you know, this thing is a bit is a testy thing, and we might start going into arguments and counter arguments. But I think people have coping mechanisms, especially on social media. Yeah. So once you hear something like World War III, it's very scary for some people. So the best way that you can cope with that kind of news is just to joke about it. Even in the Middle East, in the US, people are joking about it, and I think it's just a coping mechanism for many people. Well,
I'm not quite sure if it's seen as a joke in the Middle East. Many folks that I've seen tweets, especially on social media, from the Middle East, it's been like, you would actually think the war is on Twitter, the tweets that are emanating from them. So I know for those who are not directly affected, it's a joke. So there are a lot of wisecracks going on social media, but for those who are directly affected,
no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not, if it's World War III, everybody's going to be affected.
Everybody.
If you remember World War II, eventually it came to Africa, and even Nigerian soldiers fought in World War II. So at the end of the day, it's going to affect everyone. But I still feel most of what you're seeing right now on social media is just people trying to cope and finding, I don't know, a silver lining.
Silver lining, right? Yeah. All right. Okay, and then moving on from Twitter to Facebook, a recent leak has just left 267 million Facebook users' data exposed. Now, while Facebook was busy making its own OS, millions of the companies... Millions, of course. Now, while they've been making their own operating system, which you can see there, now millions of users' data has been leaked. Now, thanks to one of the largest data leaks in the company's history. Now, cybersecurity firm Comparitech and researcher Bob Diachenko say they found a database containing the Facebook IDs, phone numbers, and names of 267 million users on the web. The database, they claim, was entirely exposed on the internet and did not require a password or any other form of authentication to access. They posit that the origins of the database probably lie in Facebook API abuse by criminals in Vietnam or an illegal data scraping operation. Now, while Diachenko immediately notified the ISP hosting the data, he warns that it was available for 2 weeks before it was removed. It was also available as a download on a hacker forum. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know if you have heard about when people talk about building your house on someone else's land, you know. So when you go on Facebook and all your business is all about Facebook, maybe you don't have a website and all of that. As much as there's two-factor authentication, there is still a possibility of your data being leaked.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
There is. All right. Okay. All right, we'll talk more about that later on, but then, hey, come on, let's take this break. There's still a lot more coming on the show. You don't want to miss any part of it. Don't go nowhere.
Wow, we are grateful for a fabulous beginning of the year. And it is already our 4th edition of the year. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, time flies. Well, it's the first Monday, though, and the second hour of the show. Yes. This is the most entertaining family television show, and that is Wake Up Nigeria.
Now, of course, you know you're a big part of why we are here, so thank you so much for joining us again this year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fantastic year. Looking forward to it. My name is Yomi Open.
And mine is Mary Bashua Alimi. Now, we're streaming live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Yeah, send in your comments across the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC.
We also have an app available for download at both Android and iOS stores. Now, this app allows you to watch us from absolutely anywhere in the world, okay?
Now, of course, this morning we're going to be having something special in the kitchen, and our chef is wading through the traffic trying to get here. But Tokwe is in the kitchen and she looks like, I don't know why everywhere is empty right now.
You know, I just came from the Golden Globes, so I'm just trying to, you know, get in here and get everything started. But you know, the kitchen is the best place to be on Wake Up Nigeria as far as I'm here. If I'm not here, don't come here.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we're going straight to the morning's highlights for the rest of the show. Now, the past plays a big part in who we are today, and we're going to be checking.
And yes, for a second music performance on the show today, we have Caesar, Afropop artist Caesar.
We scatter our bread.
Mondays are for motivation, and joining us this morning is certified neurolinguistic practitioner Boluwatife David to talk about the different types of lives that people live.
And of course, seasoned motor mechanic Yomi Bosude will join us in our auto segment to talk about things to look out for before heading out. That's a daily routine.
Our spoken word artist for the day is award-winning poet and author Sin Rhymes.
2 shirts. So face up with the future squally, and there'll be no peace square.
Finally, we have Daniel Eshoweblem on SME to show us the building blocks of his business, PetroNG Software Solutions.
Very nice. Okay, so everyone is getting upset about this electricity hike. So some people are denying it, some others are saying that it's true. Anyway, so let me just read something to you guys so that if suddenly you're paying more for electricity and you're wondering where it came from, it's from here. Okay, so it says residential customers, as you guys.
You too. What?
Yeah, okay,
It's not,
so
it doesn't reside here now. So you let him.
in the R3 category under Ikeja, so that's you people now. Under Ikeja Disco, who currently pay 26 naira 50 kobo per kWh, kilowatts. We'll start paying 36 naira 49 kobo.
You see?
Beginning from April.
From April.
Right. So that's an increase of 10 naira.
Welcome to the real
Or 9 naira 99 kobo. So, so that's going to be happening from April. And then commercial customers, that's people like you that own shops. Category under this disco who currently pay 24 naira 63 kobo will start paying 38 naira. Wow. And that's an increase of 13 naira. 13 naira 78 kobo. Wow, that's a lot. Anyway, so that's going to be happening. And then industrial is from 25 naira to 38 naira. That's also 13 naira as well. So people are not happy.
Why would they be happy? Why would this will increase
If
cost
the hike will give us more
light.
More power. Yeah, I don't think
I've been
I would mind.
suspicious of them since like
Suspicious.
December 26th.
The light has just been
electricity-
stable.
The light has been
Like
so
they want
good.
to collect what is left on the card.
Yeah, so it will reduce your diesel and petrol costs. So hopefully if that happens,
yes.
then it will balance out.
If they're going
It will
to
balance
take
out.
from us to give us more, that's fine. But take from us and don't give us anything, that's where there'll be a problem. But I mean, they're not going to take it from because I've been paying 15 naira.
Okay, we got to head to the news now.
Okay, exactly.
And
Yeah.
Ibrahim is on standby.
Welcome to the news again. President Muhammad Buhari has expressed deep sadness over the gas explosion which led to the death of the chairman, Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Simon Malam, his son, and 3 others at Sabon Tasha area of Kaduna on Saturday. President Buhari said he is deeply touched by the unfortunate incident, insisting that the death of the erudite professor has robbed Nigeria of a great scientist whose services are needed at a time where emphasis is on science and technology for development. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has placed police commands and formations nationwide on red alert. This proactive measure follows intelligence reports that, sequel to the recent killing of an Iranian general, some domestic interests are planning to embark on massive public disturbances and sabotage. Zonal AIGs and command commissioners of police have been directed to ensure maximum surveillance and security of lives and property across the nation. The police commander have been directed to ensure strategic deployments of both overt and covert police operatives to ensure adequate security and safety of citizens. And gunmen have kidnapped a 70-year-old woman, Mrs. Feintola Wewe, in Ondo State. Her abduction comes 3 weeks after some gunmen kidnapped the wife, children and driver of a traditional ruler of Odigbo town, Oba Rufus Akirimade. Mrs. Wewe was kidnapped on Friday at about 11 p.m. The kidnappers are yet to contact the family of the old woman. One U.S. military service member and 2 contractors were killed in an Islamist attack on a military base in Kenya. Al-Shabaab attacked the base used by Kenyan and U.S. forces in the popular coastal region of Lamu on Sunday. The U.S. military says 2 others from the Department of Defense were wounded. The names of those who were killed and wounded have not been released. The attack is the first Al-Shabaab by Al-Shabaab on U.S. forces in Kenya. And the body of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in a U.S. military strike in Iraq, has been flown to the city of Ahvaz. Thousands of citizens dressed in black are marching through the city as they mourn the architect of Tehran's overseas military operations. His death took Washington and its allies, mainly Saudi Arabia and Israel, into uncharted territory in its confrontation with Iran and its proxy militias across the Middle East. The United States is sending nearly 3,000 additional troops to the region as a precaution amid rising threats to American forces. And President Donald Trump has issued a stern threat to Iran about any plans for revenge, showing no signs of seeking to reduce tensions raised by the strike that he ordered. It disclosed on Twitter that the U.S. has targeted 52 sites it would strike if Tehran attacks Americans or his country's assets. It says the targets represent the 52 Americans who were held hostage in Iran after being seized at the U.S. Embassy in 1979. Meanwhile, demonstrations against the drone strike are also holding in Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. Anti-war protesters chanted slogans and displayed posters that read, "No war on Iran." And that's the news update for this hour. Stay tuned for weather updates, and after that, sports.
Welcome to the kitchen, people.
You like this water a lot.
So I like to make my kitchen segments very interesting. But with me this morning, we have the beautiful, the delectable chef Hawa, also known as the Turare girl. How you doing?
I'm fine.
So why the Turare girl, though?
Okay, so I have a product line.
Oh, okay.
I make my own signature spice, like I said the
Yes,
other day.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I call it Turare.
Oh,
so which
okay.
makes me the Turare
The
girl.
Turare girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So Turare girl, what are we making this morning?
So we're making mami beef mix. Beef sauce, sorry.
Mami beef sauce. Okay.
So mami basically is the ingredient, is the spice from the
okay.
Turare spice range.
Okay,
yeah, it's for beef, so it's a sauce for the beef.
For the beef.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the mami beef sauce. Okay.
With yam cubes.
With yam cubes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is it. Okay, and I see something interesting happening here.
Okay, so this is my beef that's been cubed.
Okay.
So it's been marinating with the mami beef mix.
Beef mix, okay.
Then my compound garlic butter.
Compound garlic butter.
Yeah.
Okay, this sounds very interesting. What do we have here?
So we have the 3 kind of vegetables that makes up the whole sauce. That's the pumpkin leaf, the curry leaf, and then the uziza leaf.
Hey, this is how will I explain this now? This is a very vegetable, spicy
sauce.
a natural sauce going on here. Okay. So we're going to use this for the
beef.
For the beef.
Yeah.
But so it's going to be like a soup kind of.
Not soup, like a sauce.
Like a sauce.
Yes.
Oh, like
so you can.
vegetable sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, for my viewers at home, Christmas has finished, and this is January, and you know January is like a year in a month. So,
well,
for those that did not plan well. But now, how much would this cost, approximately?
Okay, less than 5K.
Less than 5K, and
I
this
guess.
can feed.
This breakfast. 3 people eat it, or 4
3 people that are not hungry.
Well, we are supposed to be watching our weight farm.
Yes, January is a fit farm month. Okay, so let's quickly run through. We have what here again?
Bay leaf. I'll be using this to boil my yam.
Oh, to boil your yam?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it do?
Flavor, basically.
Oh,
flavor.
okay.
I don't like cliche
Turare
taste
girl,
and boring
you're not
taste.
Smiling.
Yeah.
And then what do we have?
So yeah, they're my grapes. Just to serve with it.
Oh, not like we're putting it
Nah,
in.
just to serve with
My hands to the
yeah.
And this is
my sea salt.
Sea salt. Okay.
Yeah.
So why aren't we using normal salt?
I just like his preference. I think it's more flavorful and it's healthier.
It's healthier.
Yeah.
Keyword health. So now this, you said your
compound garlic butter is one of the products from the Turari spice range. It's my
we're not buying
signature.
from Turari spices. We cannot cook.
No, you can cook, but you won't get this taste.
You won't get this taste.
Yeah. So
okay.
for you to have this natural flavor build up, you have to use the product.
The
mami beef mix and then the compound garlic butter. This is just garlic, ginger, and some secret.
Okay. So now I saw this pot, interestingly.
Oh,
these days we want to use our non-stick pots, and then you have this.
Yeah.
Why are you using this kind of pot?
I'm a very traditional lady.
Okay.
I'm sure you can tell from you can see my clay pot and all of this. So I like this pot basically because it helps me preserve the essence of flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can. When I cook, it cooks faster, and then all the flavors are locked in.
Let's see how this looks like. Oh, this is very traditional. I like.
Thank you.
You might want to go the traditional way. So I think we should quickly have a run through of the menu, just so our viewers at home can actually write it down, and if they want to join the process and start trying it out, they will want to do that. Okay. So we have onions, olive oil, tomatoes, yam cube, fresh paprika, Scotch bonnets, compound garlic butter by Turare herself, rosemary, bay leaf, curry leaves, uziza leaf, pumpkin leaf, mami, beef mix by Turare. I think you've kind of like made this in a way that we have to patronize you if we want to achieve this. What do you get if you don't? You know what? Okay. So now, we're going to start all the choppings and all the cuttings. But before we come back to us, we have Yomi and my darling, beautiful Mary, who have something to share with us about this day in history.
Thank you so much, Tokwe.
Yeah, so of course, this segment, we always talk about stuff that happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decades ago. And we're going to be starting with something that happened on the 7th of January in 1993. The Fourth Republic of Ghana is inaugurated with Jerry Rawlings as president. He was the head of state and president of Ghana from January 7, 1993 to January 7, 2001. Rawlings initially came to power in Ghana as a flight lieutenant of the Ghana Air Force following a coup d'etat in 1979, and after initially handing over power to a civilian government, took back control of the country on December 31st, 1981 as the chairman of the Provisional National Defense Council. In 1992, Rawlings resigned from the military, founded the National Democratic Congress, and became the first president of the Fourth Republic. He was re-elected in 1996 for 4 more years. After 2 terms in office, the limit according to the Ghanaian constitution, claiming that the government was corrupt beyond redemption and that new leadership was required for Ghana's development. He led the group in a coup to oust Akufo government, and Supreme Military Council became the chairman of the 15-member Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, AFRC, which later became PNDC, arranged by the execution by firing squad of 8 military officers, including Generals Kote, Joy Amedume, Roger Feli, and Utaka, as well as 3 former heads of state, Afrifa, Achempong, and Akufo. The killings of the Supreme Court Justices Cecilia Koranteng Ado, Frederick Sarkodie, and Kwajo Agepong, military officers and other people as well. So it was, I mean, that coup d'etat was quite bloody. And it was talked about even in history books as well, quite a number of things that happened. But Jerry Rawlings took over power and then eventually handed over power in 2001.
Yeah, it was something so many people talked about for years, and it was a point of call for African leaders as well.
Yep.
All right, moving on, January 9th, 2002, Michael Jackson received the Artist of the Century Award at the American Music Awards. Through his group, solo and family work, he became one of the few artists to have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. He was also inducted into the Dance Hall of Fame as the first and currently only dancer from the world of pop and rock and roll. Jackson's other achievements include 39 Guinness World Records, including one for most successful entertainer of all time, 13 Grammy Awards, as well as the Grammy Legend Award and Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, 26 American Music Awards, 16 World Music Awards, and the estimated sale of up to 1 billion units worldwide, winning countless awards for his humanitarian endeavors. The singer has also been honored by 2 presidents of the United States. He's also been named as the Artist of the Decade, Generation, Century, and Millennium, and was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2002. Jackson has also won hundreds of other awards, making him the most awarded recording artist in the history of popular music. Yeah, well,
very nice.
You can never mention music without Michael Jackson in the history.
Yeah, he shaped
He's
a lot
amazing.
of lives, shaped a lot of even present-day artists as well, who probably didn't know much about him. Anyway, that's about all that we could take on this week in history.
Yes, and I know for sure that Mike is standing by with Caesar for another performance on the show.
He remained artist of the future. People gave him decade, millennium, century, and all of that. But hey, come on, I've got Caesar here, who is an Ebonyi-born singer and Nigerian Navy Special Forces operator. His real name is Monday Ozo Emena Owo. He will be performing the song Amen. You look like you want to parade like today. Eh? Okay, good. So your song this morning is Amen, right?
Yeah.
Amen, good. What's Amen about? Just what inspired the song Amen?
In Nigeria here, we've been hustling. Everybody is all about hustling. Whatever we are doing here is all about hustling. And even in my own job, it's all about hustling. So we are hardworking people. So long as you are doing something that is nice and you are craving for a betterment of tomorrow and you are doing what you want God to believe that this is what you want His blessings to come from. That amen is a prophecy, and I believe that this year, 2020, whatever you are doing that is of goodness, and you are trying to bring good things to Nigeria itself, you should favor everybody.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that message. So take it away, Caesar. Let's have amen. All right.
Now we've got some Monday motivation for you, and I have here with me certified neurolinguistic practitioner, Boluwatife David. Now, he is the founder of the Focus Life community and convener of the Focus Life Summit. And of course, they are also the creators of the Focus Code. They're here to talk about the different types of lives that people live. And that's part of our Monday Motivation series for this month of January, which is really, really important. Good to have you join us here.
Thank you so much for having me
on the show, and Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
So different lives that people live. And people are hearing that, and they're curious about what you have to say in that direction, because I know that you are all about the focused life. So talk to us.
Okay, good morning again. Thank you so much for having me here this morning. So for like 5 years now, I have committed my time to studying a lot of things, most especially one of those things that make people become high performers in whatever field they have chosen, be it in sports, be it in business, or in their career. And when I was doing all of those studies, I found something that is really profound. And I discovered that in this life, everybody is living one of 3 lives. And I'm going to run through those 3 lives quickly. The first one is what I call the floating life. Now, this kind of people, they are pretty much floating through life. Now, the interesting thing about them is that they seem to be making progress in life, but the challenge is that they are not making a coordinated progress in life. So think of those people like a leaf that is on the river, that is just flowing with the tides of the water. This kind of people, when you meet them, you know, in this particular season of life, a beginning of the year where people are setting goals, new aspirations, and all of those things. Those people will tell you that, hey, I don't set goals, you know, I just move with the flow of life, you know. And maybe because they've tried setting goals at some point and it didn't work and all of those things, so they just tend to move through life. So this tide of life comes and they go this way. The next moment they're on this journey, the next moment they're on that journey. They're making progresses here and there. Maybe it's not a concerted effort, maybe it's not taking them in any particular direction, but hey, you know, they are making some kind of progress and they're just wandering through life, so to speak. So they are floating through it. Now, the second kind of life that people live is what I call the flustered life. Now, a flustered life is a confused life. But when I talk about confusion here, I am not talking about it in terms of somebody that is clueless. I'm talking about a flustered life in the sense that this person knows that, okay, there is something about my life that is distinct. There is something about me that is bigger than me. But they've not been able to crack that code yet. They've not been able to understand what it is that they are meant to be doing. So the difference between the flustered person and the floating person is that the floating person is just moving with the tides and they have no clue as to what their life is or what they should be doing with their life. The flustered person, however, understands that, hey, there's something about my life, but they are yet to crack it. So when they think about it, they get confused, they get flustered, they get, you know, a bit locked up in a particular world and all of those things. Now, the third kind of life is what I call the focused life. Now, the focused life is a life of that person that has gotten a good understanding of self, somebody that understands that, okay, there's something about my life. They have gotten to that point where they understand what exactly it is about their life. They are self-motivated, they are driven, they understand that life is art, and they are prepared for whatever shapes, form life is going to give to them. This kind of people, they are so focused and they have a high level of staying power, such that they are not intimidated by the success of people around them. They are not using the results of other people to judge their own results because they understand their own journey and
So
they are focused on it.
Yeah, talk to us about, I mean, obviously, from the three kinds of lives that you've mentioned, I mean, you talked about the flustered and then you talked about the floating. Obviously, those two are less desirable.
Exactly.
What is more desirable is the focused life.
Exactly.
So how do you move from floating or being flustered to
living the focused life?
Being focused?
Okay, so I think maybe before we even talk about how can you become focused, maybe we should talk about what are those factors that are responsible for people not being focused. Now, and there are three major things that I've also found out. The first thing is the fact that some people lack clarity. So they've not been able to answer the question of what their life is about, why that thing is important, and how they should go about it. So if you're going to become focused, ultimately, the first place to start from is answering these two questions. What is your life about? Why is that thing so important to you to fulfill in that season of your life? And what are the skills you need or whatever it is that you need to fulfill that? The second reason why people don't live the focused life is because they are held hostage by past experiences, hostage by their friends, hostage by their parents, hostage by their spouses and their siblings. They are held hostage by a lot of things. So a lot of people know exactly what they should be doing, but they are not doing it simply because there is something in their past experience, there's something in the narrative of somebody, there is a story they've heard that tells them that even though this is the desirable life to have, this is where you must be perpetually. And for every time they try to leave this point to this point, they seem to have something holding them back perpetually. So these people are held hostage. For them to be able to move to living the focused life, they need to find a way to break themselves out of that hostage situation. Now, the third thing that is responsible for people not living the focused life is a phenomenon that is common to all of us. And that is the fact that we are all being robbed. We are all victims of theft. And this theft I'm talking about is not the theft of money, it's not the theft of diamond, it's not the theft of gold and all of those things. It is the theft of the most important resources anybody can have in this life, and that is time. You know, and we have a lot of thieves around. Take, for instance, I got robbed a couple of days ago when I got on Netflix and I saw this interesting movie that took about 3 to 4 hours of my time. And when I finished, I was like, Pulu, you have been robbed, you know. So we have a lot of things like that that is robbing us of time. The time we are meant to spend on creating results in our lives, the times that we're meant to spend in solving problems and bringing value to the table. So the question is, we all, if we really want to live the focused life, must be able to say to ourselves, okay, what are the biggest thieves in my life that is stealing my time? Because the things that are taking your time will definitely be different from the things that are taking my time, depending on individual preferences, you know. And then one of the things I also say to people is that as much as, you know, if you buy a car now, probably you install anti-theft on it, you do insurance and all of those things. What are the measures you're taking as an individual to do that for yourself? And I think one of the greatest things to do is actually to use your mobile phone as a tool for accomplishing results. You know, by using it to set your timings, I mean, send your reminders and all of those things, plan your day schedule and all of those things. So really and truly, if we look at it, we need to put measures in place. Number one, that will protect us from the thieves that are around us. You know, there are some friends that are just the thieves. When they come, you cannot just say no to them. You need to find a way to put a structure in place that reduces the amount of time you spend with those kind of people so that you are less vulnerable to them.
So let's dial back a little bit because, you know, now we're going deeper into how you can then begin to plan and have a life that is more focused. But if for instance, you have a situation where, again, going back to the first two kinds of lives that you've mentioned, floating and flustered. So there are some who feel like they're stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
So everything you're saying still feels like a lot of work. That, I'm having to begin to disconnect and then reconnect with this new lifestyle, because now you're giving structure, you're giving a proper planning and all of that. How do I begin to make that transition? Because if there's no definite steps that I'm taking to make that transition, it just feels like, okay, I have a lot of, I've received a lecture, but I can now
translate all of those things
that into my personal life on a daily basis. When I wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or wherever it is, what are the specific things that I then need to do in transitioning to a life that is focused?
Okay, so I think one of the things that we all need to really be able to do is to, at some point, you know, decide on the things that are really important to us. And I think the place to really start from is to be able to ask the question, what do I want my life to be synonymous to? I think that's a very good place to start, because if you're already stuck, you know, leave all of those things alone first and ask yourself critical questions. The first question is, what do I want my life to be synonymous to? Such that when they mention my name in my circle of influence, my industry, my friends and all of that, when they mention my name, I want it to resonate this thing. Now, that decision in itself is something that you just sit down and make on a particular day. The moment you now make that kind of a decision, the next thing that you do is to say, okay, for me to be able to do this, what kind of person do I need to become? So take, for instance, I am a trainer. I conduct corporate trainings for corporate organizations and all of that. When I decided that that was what I was going to do, even though I studied law, I knew that the kind of person that will make a good lawyer is different from the kind of person that will make a corporate trainer. So I had to sit down and ask myself, okay, what kind of person makes a good corporate trainer? What are the things that I need to put into myself? Because, you know, the food that a wrestler is going to eat is different from the food a footballer would eat, even though they are all athletes, you know. So I sat down with myself to say, okay, what are those things that I need to do? And that is what everybody that wants to make that transition needs to do.
So you need to begin to
first of all decide what kind of person you want to be. The second thing,
we have to round off now. I know that you're with us hopefully for a few weeks, and we're going to touch on a number of these issues. But hopefully, I'm sure that somebody who's listening now, and maybe you feel like you've been floating, definitely, I'm sure you've had one or two things this morning that will help you begin to plan your life and make that transition to a more focused life. Bolu Watifed, David, thank you for joining us.
Let me just drop one point.
No, we do have to go. We do have to go.
Okay,
I have to head to the kitchen now where Tokpa is on standby with our chef. Hey, guys.
Thank you very much, Yomi. I just want to quickly show our viewers what is going on here. You know, it's really sad that all you just get to do is see, but if you can smell what I'm smelling, this is bliss. I mean, apart from the fact that we're doing January fasting, yo guys, the flavors that Turare Girl has here is amazeballs. Now you can see like a whole, will I call this lump or what will I call this pepper?
It's just a whole pepper.
A whole pepper. And I asked her why she does have a whole pepper here. And she says, well, tell us why we have a whole pepper.
I just want the flavor of the pepper to be in the beef, but I don't want it to overpower the beef. I don't want it to be too hot.
Okay.
I just want the whispering flavor of the
I didn't know peppers used to whisper.
Yeah, it depends on all spices whisper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, you just put while we were away, you just put the beef on fire by itself. You didn't put water. Why did you do that?
Okay, I wanted it to release its own juice first.
Okay.
Like to sweat out, and then so that all of the flavors that we've been marinating would sit into it. And then all of this should be done on really low heat. Yeah.
Okay. And now for people at home who want to, if let's assume they don't have the turare spice.
Okay.
Do they use any random spice that they have at home?
Yeah, but just that, it won't be the same thing.
It won't be the same thing. I mean, if you want to taste what we're smelling here, you could just patronize the turare girl and get that. So this was really interesting to me because I think after marinating, I'll probably just put it with water. So you should actually try that, boiling your beef by just letting it to leave out or bring out its spice. I don't know the perfect words about saying it in our
Let it cook in its own juice.
Let it cook in its own juice.
Yeah.
Yes. And now we're cutting the veggies that we're going to use for the, you said it's not soup.
No, it's a sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm doing something very interesting with these vegetables. Curry has a very pungent flavor. That is the curry leaf.
Yes.
And then uziza too.
Okay.
So imagine you having a mix of those in just one pot with all natural flavors.
But why did you mix all these leaves though?
Well, aside their health benefits, they are packed with a lot of flavors.
Okay.
So if you're tired of that cliche taste, like that cliche vegetable taste, you can just try combining these two. It's just an alternative.
Okay. Well, we'll be going on a quick break and we'll be right back with a whole lot more on Wake Up Nigeria. Don't go anywhere.
Well, the new year has started with so much excitement. And of course, you know how we do it. It's Monday, and we're right here for you.
That's right. Now, while others have New Year resolutions, the most important thing is you jump right on it. It doesn't matter where you start, just start.
Yeah, and it's the final hour of the show this morning. It's been great. 2 hours gone by already, and we're thanking you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. My name is Mary Bashwa Alimi.
And I'm Yomi Ope. Get online right now. Stream with us live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
And remember to send in your comments. We would like to hear from you, and kindly use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC as well.
Yeah, if you haven't yet, you can also download our app, both on the Android and iOS stores. And this app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world.
All right, we'll just go straight to the
Straight, but something's happening in the kitchen that
the aroma, the garlic aroma.
This guy's
something else.
Yo, you guys don't know what's going on here as a chef.
Oh boy,
this is you're only seeing it. You can't even smell what I'm smelling.
Oh,
I know this is some form of wickedness to our viewers. Like they need to be here.
Looks good, looks good, looks good.
Really,
Straight to the rest of the highlights for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll start off with seasoned motor mechanic Yomi today joining us in our auto segment to talk about things to look out for before heading out.
Our spoken word artist for the day is award-winning poet and author Saint Rhymes.
Be a kind of man.
And finally, we have Daniel Eshoweblim on SME to show us the building blocks of his business, PetroEnergy Software Solutions. Okay.
So, John Wick is trending.
Again?
What did he do?
Please don't tell me there's a fourth installment.
Two things. Yes, of course there is now. Everybody knows. So two things. It's going to be released on the same day with Matrix 4. So John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 are going to be released on the same day.
Both.
You understand? So that's Ken Reeves. That'll be officially Ken Reeves' day, right? But it's trending because of a number of things now.
What?
So this is very simple. That if Iran wants to drop
Oh my day.
Donald Trump,
Oh my day.
then they should just hire John Wick and give him the $80 million. And it's that, or they should just tell John Wick that Donald Trump killed his dog. Part of the jokes and all of that about everything.
About World War III. I think look,
John Wick
it just has to be a coping mechanism because people don't even want to think about something happening that is going to affect them directly.
I'm actually terrified. But I'm
About
trying to
World
be,
War III?
yeah, because
Honestly.
it's the worst thing that could happen to the world. It's
truly.
not, the technology is more advanced than even back then in World War II. In 1945, things were still like, okay, yes, technology was growing, but it wasn't as advanced as now. Now, people can destroy the world by just snapping their fingers.
Very true.
Right.
So I think there ought to be some kind of mediation going on right now.
Yeah, which is why we
really
need to
scary.
hire John Wick and let him take care of business.
Please, let's be
You
realistic.
guys stop it already.
Because to be honest, like usually, anytime I want to spend money, I'm always feeling like, let me save, or in case something happens, I can run. But now, I don't know where
do you want to run?
to. Do you understand? I don't know if my village is even safe.
You gotta run to the
Your
news
village
now.
might be safe.
What if they land there first?
Right, let's
You
get
know,
to the
we'll
news
just
now.
head straight to the news so that
Ibrahim
Ibrahim can tell us what's
is on
on his
standby.
plate.
All right, let me quickly tell you this. I saw it on Twitter yesterday. Someone told Donald Trump, a Nigerian, that all of these things you're doing with Iran, don't try with Nigeria. And another person tweeted and said, please stop all this rubbish you are doing. Mr. Trump, please don't mind this guy. Yo. I'm not there.
Okay, I get that.
Right. Video has emerged of the abducted Khan chairman of Michika local government area of Adamawa State, Reverend Andimi, where it says that if it pleases God that he be released, it would be out. But if God decides not to get him out, that his children should be cared for. The video was released a few hours after President of Christian Association of Nigeria called for his unconditional release.
I have never been discouraged because all condition that one may find himself is in the hand of God. God who make them to take care of me and to live my life will still work, will touch them. So in summary of my speech, that the request I should summarize it again in English. I am appealing to my colleagues, reverends, particularly my president, Reverend Joel Billy, which is a strong man, man of compassion, man of love, that he can do all his best to speak to our governor, Umaru Jibrila, and other necessary agents for my release here.
Well, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has placed police commands and formations nationwide on red alert. This proactive measure follows intelligence report that sequel to the recent killing of an Iranian general, some domestic interests are planning to embark on massive public disturbances and sabotage. Zonal AIGs and command commissioners of police have been directed to ensure maximum surveillance and security of lives and property across the nation. The police commanders have been directed to ensure strategic deployments of both overt and covert police operatives to ensure adequate security and safety of citizens. Gunmen have kidnapped a 70-year-old woman, Mrs. Feintola Wewe, in Ondo State. Her abduction comes 3 weeks after some gunmen kidnapped the wife, children and driver of a traditional ruler of Odigbo town, Oba Rufus Akirimade. Mrs. Weber was kidnapped on Friday at about 11 p.m. The kidnappers are yet to contact the family of the old woman. And outside Nigeria, the body of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in a U.S. military strike in Iraq, has been flown to the city of Ahvaz. Thousands of citizens dressed in black are marching through the city as the Monday architect of Tehran oversees military operations. His death took Washington and its allies, mainly Saudi Arabia and Israel, into uncharted territory in its confrontation with Iran and its proxy militias across the Middle East. The United States is sending nearly 3,000 additional troops to the region as a precaution amid rising threats to American forces. President Donald Trump has issued a stern warning to Iran about any plan for revenge, showing no signs of seeking to reduce tensions raised by the strike that he ordered. He also disclosed that on Twitter that the U.S. has targeted 52 sites it would strike if Tehran attacks Americans or his country's assets. He says the targets represent the 52 Americans who were held hostage in Iran after being seized at the U.S. Embassy in 1979. Meanwhile, demonstrations against the drone strike are also holding in Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Anti-war protesters chanted slogans and displayed posters that read, "No war on Iran." One U.S. military service member and 2 contractors were killed in an Islamist attack on the military base in Kenya. Al-Shabaab attacked the base used by Kenyan and U.S. forces in the popular coastal region of Lamu on Sunday. The U.S. military says 2 others from the Department of Defense were wounded. The names of those who were killed and wounded have not been released. The attack is first by Al-Shabaab on U.S. forces in Kenya. And as the news this time, today on Wake Up Nigeria Sports.
If it good, it bad, we died, yeah. I swear my mind no day for poverty. If you believe in your house, you say amen, 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 amen.
Welcome to our auto segment this Monday morning, and today we're going to be looking at things to check out before you hit the road. Yomi Boss today is the one with us for our first episode this year. It's great to have you, Yomi.
Yes, bro. Good
You're
morning.
welcome.
Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, man. So, things to check out before you hit the road. I mean, we're just back from traveling and all of that, and we just have to business and all that. We have to get up, we have to get on the road and all that. So basically, of course, apart from checking that your car is parked where you left it, what else do you check for just before you hit the road?
Now it's a new year, it's a new approach to things, so you want to first check your fluids. Your fluids are important.
I've never checked that. It depends on when you got the car and all of that, but yeah, your fluids, right?
Yeah.
So
your engine oils, your radiator coolant.
Okay.
You also need to check your brake fluid, also transmission fluid.
Engine oil, radiator coolant, and all of that.
Yeah.
Do we still have cars where we pour water inside the radiator?
Well, it's not water. A lot of people get to make that mistake. It's not water. You're meant to add coolant.
But when I was growing up, when my father's car is water, it's not coolant.
It's water. Do you know why?
It's water.
That was
that one was water. Because everyone you have to ensure you have to put water.
In that 04 or something like that.
504, you
Excellent.
know, it's GLE 504. You have to put water. But I know these days a lot of things have changed and we don't get water and all of that.
No.
So what happens? Is it like those cars? You needed water, and these cars you don't need water. What's the change?
Things have evolved.
Okay.
Technology has come in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So also with the improvement in technology and research, you realize that it's always been water has a boiling point.
It does.
At 100 degrees, water will boil. But when you put the coolant in, it doesn't boil easily because of the additives, the mixture. So when it starts to work in your vehicle and it circulates, it doesn't boil.
Okay.
So that's why you need coolant.
Coolant. Okay. So your coolant,
your
brakes,
your brake fluid. Yes.
Okay.
You know, check that you have the right brake fluid in it. That's at the maximum point. You know.
Point. Okay.
That's 2.
Your coolant, your brake fluid, and then your oil.
Transmission oil.
Your transmission
yes.
oil.
Some vehicles have transmission dipstick. where you can check to see what it looks like, what it smells like.
Two different dipsticks, right?
Yes, two different dipsticks, you know.
Okay.
Some vehicles don't have dipsticks, you know.
Well, some don't have.
Yes.
Probably have a gauge or something you can look at.
No, they want you to take it to the technician, like Auto-Centric Garage, where we have the right tools.
So they don't want you
check.
to even
They don't want you to check
anything.
No, they don't want any DIYs to check.
Okay.
So once you bring it to us, we can then check it out for you.
Okay. All right. So you check all your fluids. All right. So what next after that?
Also, you need to check that your tires are intact, because I mean, we're looking at the scenario that you just got back from the trip. Your tires may be weak. You know, they may have lost air pressure. You know, so you want to go around, look at what they look like, and also check the pressure if you have a pressure check.
You see, that's something. There's this roadside, two people, two different vulcanizers by the road, and you go to them and then you tell them, okay, hey, I want 33 or I want 35, and they just go, okay, Ogana 35.
40.
No, it's still not 35, and then this is what happens. Ogama Siam, my gauge no dey work.
How did you know it was 35? Do you understand?
So
How?
it's even more dangerous. See, so if he even puts 40 safe, and I said I check and it's 40, no, this one doesn't even know. So he just pumps it and looks at the tire. And this was two different guys.
Wow.
So this was two different guys. So at first I would want to say, why are you going to check the tires? Before you even go to check the tires, ensure that the guy's gauge is working. Tell him, okay, Oga, gauge it first. Let me know what is inside first. And let me see it. Maybe they'll say, 35. No. Let me see it, because it's a problem. But I know that people have their own. You can get your own gauges. It's not too expensive.
Hold on. Let me bring out one from the car.
Okay, all right. You do have.
Yeah, I have one here.
Wonderful. Now that's something that we really need to take care of. Like I told you, it happened to me. You really do have to be careful. Don't just go out there. Make sure that wherever you go to gauge your tire, the gauge is actually working and you can check exactly where it is.
So I've got two types here.
Okay.
I've got this one that doesn't require a battery.
Okay.
So I can just put it in and you get the.
Okay.
Go ahead, try it.
All right. So if I put it in like this, okay.
Hold on. Then you see, it has the pressure recorded. Take it out.
Oh wait.
Once
okay,
that's
so
the reset button. That's the reset button. Go ahead,
so
try
I
it
can
again.
just push it in again.
No, just push it once and it comes out.
And comes out. Okay, so this is 210.
That's in KPI.
Yes, KPI.
Then look at the next figure.
The next figure is 2. This is 2. Is that 20 or this is 2?
No, it's above it. It's around 28 psi.
Okay, good. Wonderful. So you know that there's a KPA and the PSI.
Yes,
there's a conversion.
but we use the PSI rating.
Yes,
in
but
Nigeria.
I had to check. My own had the KPA. So I had to convert. It was 220, and by the time I converted, it was 31 and over. This is very important. Before
and it's not expensive, you know. I've got the digital type, you know, that uses a battery.
Oh,
so
wow.
this one, because the battery is out, is not useful. So always have this manual type.
To check. Wonderful.
And it's best to check in the morning when the weather is still cold and
before you
hit the road.
Before you hit the road and tires the pressure does change a bit and it gets warm. Wonderful.
And by the time it gets warm, the tires expand, so you don't have accurate.
There are a lot of accidents that we can actually help or we can avoid if we check our tire pressure. Okay, so what next? After tire pressure, what next?
You also need to check your wipers, that your wiper blades are working fine and that they wipe the windshield properly. Because you can imagine you're driving at night and it starts to rain and there's harmattan. So your visibility has greatly been compromised.
That is not a scenario you want to be
no,
you're not prepared for.
Yes.
And I love even cars that have wipers even behind, because at times when your front wiper is clean and then you look back and then there's a lot of mist or something, or it's dirty behind. That's a very good one. Wipers, wonderful. Is there any other one very fast?
Also, apart from having wipers, you also have the rear windshield defrost button in your vehicle.
Yes,
so
exactly.
if you don't have a wiper behind, once you hit that button, it looks like a rectangle with 3 lines on it. It's for your rear windshield. A lot of people don't even know what that thing does in the car. It's to clear the mist behind.
Exactly. The next time we're going to talk about that, we'll actually show people where it is and show people how it looks like. Go and say 3 signs now. You're going, 3 signs. My light self is 3 signs. Right? Thank you very much, Yomi. It's always good having you. That's all we're going to take today. Of course, we'll still be looking at what you can check out. But then, hey, come on, we have a spoken word performance right in the house.
Just say, yes, so we have Solomon Adesoya, also known as Saint Rhymes. Now, he is a creative award-winning spoken word poet and author. His poems have been used both locally and internationally as montages for movies and jingles for top brands. You know, now I'm already angry with you because I'm expecting some rhymes to the hymes and the dimes and the times. What are you performing for us this morning?
Okay, I'm doing a poem titled Unique Man.
You wrote yourself?
I wrote myself, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to be in your hair. I'm just going to let you blow us away with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, mankind, be kind, man. Be your kind of man. You are one of a kind, and there is none of your kind amongst mankind. And even the thorough search on Google engine will never find your kind, man, because you are unique, man. I'm a man, human, real man, straight man thinking straight man, yet I'm unique, man. And even though I am human, I am not human. We are different. We are unique, man. But sometimes I choose to be superhuman, like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Iron Man, Ant-Man. Just call me a superhero, man. Truth is, every man can be a superhero. White or black, Caucasian or Negro. Greatness is a choice, you know. So be you. Be unique, man. Be beautiful just the way you are. Never try to be like another. Don't envy your brother. Don't bother copying my method, man. Else your eyes go see red, man. Every man is a celebrity. Every man with a unique identity. Every man will have his day. And every man will rock the stage like Yellow Man, Beanie Man, George Foreman, Cassius Clay Man, Mahatma Gandhi, Mandela, DMX, man, including you, man, because you are next, man. I tell you this, life is music, so find your own rhythm and blues and dance along. And even if the rhythm is so slow so that your hip cannot hop like you up to pop or hip hop, don't stop. Keep dancing, keep advancing. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Dance. Dance like you have been jazzed with some voodoo or juju. Never mind if it's slow like country music or predictable like reggae music. Maintain your own style and fine-tune it even, but never forget. No matter how many times you fine-tune it, Fuji music will never become high life, because photocopies had life. Just be you, man. Be true to you, man. Be you, Nick, man. Send rhymes, say so. Thank you.
So every Monday, what we try to do is bring you an SME, a small and medium-scale business that's doing some work here in Nigeria. And Petron Software Solutions is a software development company which consists of experts that specialize in enabling individuals and businesses to ease their processes, reduce cost, and generate revenue. And here to share more on this, on his experience as a small business owner himself, is Peter Daniel, who's, of course, a small business owner. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
So talk to us about your software company. So a software company that serves small businesses. Talk to us about what you do.
Okay, yeah. We started out since 2014, and I started
2013?
out... Yeah, 2014.
2014,
yeah.
That's 6 years now,
yeah.
almost 6 years.
Yeah, and I started out as a freelancer, and then I worked on until the project increased and became too much for one man to bear. So I had to begin to think about expanding my team and getting some non-executive directors to help me with the project management and also collecting modules, ensuring that things are going as I wanted so that we can make more profit for the business. So in 2018, and that was last year, I got 2 members on board to join me in management and also began to engage some staffs. Yeah, so we've gone on to develop a lot of web applications, mobile applications, and then we're looking to develop virtual reality solutions, which is why I have this here.
Why you have this? Yeah. You started this business years ago. Was your focus? Did you always focus on small businesses, or you were targeting big businesses from the beginning, and then you then began to expand your service offerings?
Okay, actually, I started out targeting small businesses because I knew that starting out as a small business myself, I needed to take the time out and create a track record so that then bigger businesses will be able to count on me for bigger deals. So I started out with small businesses and grew from there and began to land bigger deals as well.
So you're starting as a person and as a freelancer is quite instructive, because it looks like you also grew in an organic way that people can also see the progress that you've made over the past 6 years. But the process, can you talk to us about the process of you starting and then realizing that, okay, I need to increase my capacity, and then moving on to the next level and all of that, and the financial implication of this scaling up and how you eventually grew to where you are now?
Okay, so 2018, earlier before July, I was still freelancing while I worked as an employee at a firm as a software developer.
Right.
Okay, and then...
Okay, so this, up until 2018, this was a side business?
Exactly.
Okay.
It was a side business. And so I was just doing freelance jobs while I was still serving as an employee. And then in 2018, I realized it was the best time to quit that...
the full-time...
Okay, now I didn't quit at that point, but then I felt that was because I was beginning to get lots of these side jobs, and I didn't want them to just pass. So, I didn't want to leave the job at that moment yet, because I was just starting out. I needed to ensure that this was a path I could tread safely and profitably too. And so I had to ensure that I remained there while I began to grow my business. The strategy I used was I created a lot of videos. I tried to pass down the knowledge that I have as a programmer, as a developer. I created a lot of videos from basic to intermediate level that just anybody can pick up on and begin to do everything that I can do. So while I'm working, somebody else is at my office and is doing every other project that's coming in and needs to be done.
So it's quite instructive that you were trying to balance this out as an entrepreneur on one side, and then having full-time employment on another side, because a lot of times people quit their jobs to start the business, and then they discover that it's not that easy, and many people go back to employment because discover that they couldn't find that balance. So it looks like what you did was that you ran the business for a few years before you then eventually pulled out and then focused on it.
Exactly. So that was exactly what I did. And when it got to a point where I realized it was just the best time to quit, I resigned from being a full-time employee to focus on my own business and grow it.
Wow.
And it's been an amazing journey so far.
And of course, you've hired a few hands, and they've joined you.
Our team is growing, and we've had lots of persons joined. Well, some have come and some have gone. And right now, we have a growing team, and not just a team, but then we're also coming up with very, very viable solutions. Startup Click, for example, is a software solution that's targeted at helping startups like myself manage their books, their accounting, and then to help them ensure that they do not have this financial crisis that usually results in the 90% of crash that happens among startups. Because like statistics has it, 90% of startups usually crash within the first 3 years. Okay, so we look at it and we realized one of the major causes of this is a lack of proper bookkeeping. And we felt, okay, what if we have a solution? And I remember personally, as I began to put more attention into making my business more corporate so that we can become more viable, I saw that I needed to begin to give more attention to my books, to my numbers. And I didn't want to bog my mind with all of that, because I want to be able to do sales, do marketing, and still do development, monitor the team, supervise the team, and ensure that everything is working technically. Okay, but I knew that I needed to ensure the numbers too were being properly monitored.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that myself because I felt it was going to be too much for me. I needed to get someone to do that for me.
So you needed to
who
hire
studied
someone who then...
to do that for me.
Yeah.
But then I know not every startup will be able to get that privilege because in fact, I didn't have to pay this person very much because of the relationship, and then just came on as a volunteer and was helping me out with the accounting. And I felt, well, lots of startups won't have this privilege.
Yeah.
Why don't we just provide them a solution and they will tell them you don't need an accountant, all you need is a startup clerk.
I like that because one of the things that, I mean, your profile says that you focus a lot on small businesses because, again, you have been a small business owner for a while and you know the specific challenges that they face. So apart from Startup Clerk, which I feel is a great solution for many small businesses, are there other solutions that you're bringing up that focus on small businesses as well, based on the challenges, the common challenges that small businesses face in a country like this?
Okay, so basically there are a few other products as well. We have Pasioli. Pasioli is targeted at micro-lending institutions, and it's supposed to help them with their reconciliation process. Many times there are some sort of discrepancies during customers' loan repayments. As customers come to take loans at these micro-lending institutions, and then they come to do their repayments. Somehow there's some discrepancy. Sometimes they're over-deducted, sometimes they're under-deducted. In fact, some persons that took loans that were supposed to be deducted were not deducted in some cases. And so the software helps to figure out these discrepancies and then balances.
Yeah, these issues about loan is always crazy and very confusing. So they tell you we're giving you a loan at this percentage, but you don't know if it's monthly, whether the percentage deductions are supposed to be monthly or yearly, and then it just becomes very confusing. You don't know if the loan is reducing or if it looks like it's increasing. So this solution will help you.
Really saw that, yeah, okay. And that's Pasioli. Yeah, so the goal of Pasioli is to ensure that all of these discrepancies that happen during customers' loan repayments are properly sorted. Well, we have another product, and that's this homeschool. Well, this is for schools. We're trying to enhance education for secondary school students. And this is going to be, I remember back then as a secondary school student, one of the best experiences I had as a student was, learning as a student was when I had a private tutor come to my house to teach me personally. Right. And that was when I had my best performance in school. And so I realized that many students go to school today and they're not able to perform well because the teacher is standing in front and is teaching everybody at the same pace.
Yeah, so talking to 20, 30 people
at the same pace, and not everybody can learn at the same pace. Not everybody can understand what the teacher is saying at that pace. And so only a few that are very smart are able to learn. Education in Nigeria as such not being very effective, because of that kind of system. So we devised this technology to say, okay, we can make education more effective.
So this is you moving into a whole new different space, which is the education sector. Exactly. As well, bringing solutions. Yeah. It's amazing. This I feel is a great business, especially with the focus on what you're doing, providing solutions for small businesses, and wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Monday. And I know that you're joining us this morning as a hard worker. We're going to be giving you a special reward in the kitchen. So we'd like you to join us in the kitchen. But thank you so much for coming on the show, Daniel Peter.
Thank you.
Please, this way. Let's find out what the ladies have been up to here.
So Chef Hawa has been doing something very traditional here. And we have the Mami beef sauce. Oh, yes, and then I got a gift, guys. Please clap for me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes, from Turare girl herself. Yeah. So you should watch out. I'll use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria when I'm making my own food.
So cute little mortar and
pestle. And then now interestingly, she served her yam in this traditional pot. Do you want to tell us why you use this traditional pot?
Oh, well.
Which kind of pot?
Flavors.
This pot.
Okay. This helps us retain flavors.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it keeps you warm.
Okay, yeah. So we might want to go back to how it was traditionally if we want to be retaining flavors.
Okay. So, please go ahead, dig in.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Would like
so you can start from anywhere and
you rate all her efforts.
Okay. So how did you achieve this anyway?
Basically, I put my pan on fire, my meat that's been marinated with umami beef mix and compound garlic butter.
Okay.
And then I boiled it till, you know, all of the liquid is dried out in it. Then I added my olive oil, then my peppers mix. I allowed it to fry a bit, not like fry, just like brown it a bit. Then I added my peppers, allowed it to simmer for a few minutes. Then I tossed in my vegetables and extra onions for.
And the vegetables, you mean the pumpkin leaf?
Yeah,
the
there's
uziza
the
leaf,
uziza and then the curry leaf.
The curry leaf.
Yeah.
There's a lot of leaves in there.
Yeah. Then I boiled my yam with bay leaf and rosemary.
Interestingly, she didn't just use the salt that we conventionally use, with bay leaf and rosemary. You might want to try
like
that.
a suya thing.
Maybe it's the mami spice.
It has spice.
It's my signature spice.
Chef Yomi.
Yeah, okay, so I'll buy that.
This looks really yummy.
Yeah.
This looks good. So we can't wait to dig into this. We need to quickly round up.
So Peter, what did you think?
I think it feels good.
It does?
Tastes good, yeah.
Tastes very good.
Glad.
Thank you.
All right, it's about time to wrap it up for today. Many
Yes,
thanks to Homely NG for the kitchen accessories. Amazing
Big
accessories.
thank you to all our guests for joining us on the show today, Peter Daniel, and also our chef. Well
Thank
done.
you
so much.
Good job.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tomorrow is another day on the show, bright and early. We can't wait to serve you up yet another exciting edition of the show this new year.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.